Coming up next on the Filthy Rich Cleaners podcast.
It is not clear. So if you're going to offer both and you want to grow both, I really think that we need to make it very clear that we can do both equally well.
From your first dollar to your first million, welcome to the Filthy Rich Cleaners podcast, presented by ZenMaid. Join your host, Stephanie Pipkin, founder of Serene Clean, as she shares proven tips, tricks, and hard-earned lessons. Whether you're just starting out or ready to scale, get ready to discover how to build your own cleaning empire. Let's roll up our sleeves and dive in.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Filthy Rich Cleaners podcast. I am your host, Stephanie from Serene Clean. And in today's episode, I'm going to be going over 8 mistakes that you may very well be making when it comes to your website and the quick fixes that we can do to change these things. Goal being that we are getting 1, more leads, and 2, we are doing some pre-selling to those leads so they're more likely to convert when you do get them on the phone or get them by email or however you communicate with your leads. Hopefully all of these things, right? So first and foremost, number 1 is when I am doing consulting calls and I'm looking at your guys' websites and your online presence. Very often there is no clear action that you want the website visitor to do when they get to your homepage. It's very confusing what I, as the visitor, am supposed to be doing because there is no clear thing that draws my eye, or you're trying to get everything to stand out, meaning like everything's bold, there's lots of colors and all of this stuff, or nothing is. And so when the page first loads, that's called the above the fold. And in that above the fold, we want it to be very clear what the ultimate goal for the visitor is. And that should be, of course, getting that estimate, booking a cleaning, whatever it is that how you phrase it. So for us, it's, get your free estimate, get a cleaning estimate, those types of things. Whether you're residential, commercial, vacation rental, we want them to be filling out our form. So that is the ultimate goal. So if you just have a menu bar across the bar and every single category is the same and there's no clear call to action, it's not direct enough. It needs to be immediate. As soon as that page loads, they know what to do. And of course, the whole website is built in a way to try to convert them to a lead and have them take that action. And they may peruse around, go to the About Us, testimonials, all of that good stuff, right? However, at the end of the day, the ultimate goal is they fill out our quote request form or our booking form, right? So it needs to be clear. Secondarily, most of you do not have any enticing type of offer to incentivize them to say, ooh, let me go fill that form out. And as you guys know, ours is book your first cleaning and get your second 50% off. Caveat that we explained during the estimating process is it must be done within 1 month of the initial clean being completed. We don't want to be giving 50% off a year later on their second clean because that's truly an initial clean. But you guys are welcome to steal that offer. We call it no-brainer offer because it's so obvious they should be filling out that form. So those are a couple things related to calls to action on your website. Make it very clear. It should be all over on every page if possible. What you want them to do is go fill out that form. That's a very quick fix. I've also seen that first image across the top. Again, that above the fold section, it's so important. And some of your guys' pictures, they don't make me feel anything. They don't make me feel anything at all. So just make sure, like when it loads, that has a high impact. Like what are we looking at here? Okay. All right. Number 2 mistake that you guys can avoid. And this is a very easy one. You could change this right now in, 5 minutes of work, perhaps, maybe even less with ChatGPT. We need to add a personal About Us section. I prefer this to be on the home page, but most certainly you need to have an About Us page. And don't just say something generic, all right? You are unique and your story is unique and you should be utilizing that to talk about your business. Regardless if you are your ideal client profile or your avatar, all these different ways we call our clients, even if you're not them, you have something about you that can make them feel connected to you. And so it's very important to explore your story. I've talked to so many of you and I'm like, tell me about yourself. Why'd you open this business? And you guys go on these tear jerking, beautiful life stories. And I'm like, where do I sign? Why is this not on your website? Why are we not talking to clients like this? This all has to do with trust building. We want our clients to feel like they can trust us. They know us. We're friendly. We understand them. All of these things. So why did you open your business? And if it was just to make money, don't put that. All right. Let me caveat that right there. Right? We want to help people. We love this. We're overwhelmed. We understand their pain. We're fed up with the lack of quality or consistency in our area. And I've always wanted to be a business owner and I get to help people. Like literally there's a million ways we can say why we opened our business. And a lot of you guys are parents. So you really connect to our ideal clients, which most likely is, a busy parent, dual income household, all that good stuff. You may have a wildly different ideal customer profile, but most likely if you're watching this or listening to this, we're kind of in the same realm, right? But the biggest thing is like, I wanted to offer something professional and something that people can count on, as well as all of the emotional, like feel good stuff of what we do and how we can help in giving to our community, all of that good stuff. So think about your story. Think about like, what would you tell me if Stephanie asked you, why'd you open your business? Why is this important to you? You can absolutely tell me your story. So just blurt that out into ChatGPT, have them make it more concise and nicely written, and then bing, bang, boom, put that on your homepage about the founder, our story, our mission, whatever you want, and get that on there. Additionally, get that on an About Us page as well. Get a photo of yourself, okay? My very first headshot that I did, I actually just set it up in front of a white wall and took it. So I just asked like online, like, how do I get myself a professional headshot? I couldn't afford, and nor was I going to go get headshots taken to make sure, obviously, that it's going to look professional. Ideally, not a selfie, guys. Like selfie, like if you're like this in like a bathroom, I mean, if you're an owner operator, I get it. But again, the goal is to look bigger than we actually are, right? If you remember Mark Lineberry's conversation with us about commercial, we really want to seem like big, but still friendly and relatable. And that's where like that personal touch comes in with a bunch of shots of professionalism infused in it. Okay. So get your About Us section on there. All right. Number 3 mistake is you guys are not prioritizing social proof enough, whether it be way down at the bottom or kind of sprinkled throughout in various ways. You really could be utilizing those reviews in a better way. A lot of you guys have a lot of great reviews, but you're not putting it on the website in a really like beautiful manner, whether that be in a scroll bar or something like that. It's just like a generic list. Really, what I'm getting at here is you don't have video reviews. You don't have video reviews and you're not putting that on the homepage, on the booking page or service pages. Like, you guys know, I'm going to beat this dead horse until it's like crying for help. It like comes back alive and it's like, please no more Stephanie. But I'm like, no, you guys need to understand, get video reviews and put them on your website, put them on your Google My Business, and your phones will be ringing off the hook. That's how important this social proof is and video reviews are. You gotta do this, guys. Gotta do it. Even if your website is really basic, but if you've got some video reviews on there, like, that's it. You're going to be booked out. Trust me, you're going to be booked out. So really prioritizing that social proof and sprinkling it throughout, make it aesthetic looking. Go to Canva and make some pretty graphics. It's not hard. It's very simple to make things look prettier than just like plain text, even adding, little star graphics or whatever you need to do, or hop on Fiverr and ask somebody to do that. Or again, Canva, they have a really lovely AI technology in it so that you can like create photos and really pretty stuff. So there's also a bunch of templates on Canva. Again, Canva's totally free, guys. You don't have to pay for it. The paid version is fantastic. We do pay for it, but we didn't for years. So you can go on Canva, make some really beautiful like testimonial templates and just use the same thing over and over again. So just search review template or testimonial template and you can get some more like visual addition to that. For us, we actually add the cleaner's photo to the testimonial of their works to help connect and again, add that personal touch. So that brings me into point number 4 and mistake number 4. You guys have heard me say it before, but you are using stock images. Knock it off. Stop using stock images of cleaning products or cleaners that are not you. Okay. I see so many of you using stock images of some people that you found online of like happy smiling cleaners that aren't your cleaners or aren't even you. Like in the About Us section, I'll come to the page and then I hop on the consult and I'm like, oh, I thought you looked like that, but you don't look like that at all, which doesn't matter what you look like, but it's not the same. So we want to be authentic. And even if it's not like the most perfect, professional photo shoot, as long as everybody's in uniform, taking photos of your staff on the job, have them submit photos of them happy and cleaning, you cleaning, make sure you have shoes on. That was one photo I saw. It was a stock image of a cleaner, very happy, but they didn't have shoes on in the house. So yeah, immediately I was like, no, get that photo off, because that would immediately be like, nope, I'm not hiring them. They don't wear shoes in the house, and that's a safety hazard. And just, have cleaning shoes, guys. But it wasn't even the actual person. It was just a stock image that they chose. And it looked like a happy cleaner, but it wasn't her. And that's my point, is we need to infuse some personality into our online branding. And we can do that with photos of our cleaners. And if you don't have cleaners, do it of yourself. All right. Get to cleaning and get some photos of you cleaning, happy, wiping counters, looking pretty, all of that good stuff. Like the point is that it's not a stock image of, a mop bucket and a sponge on your website. Mistake number 5 is you guys are not embedding a booking form into the website. You might have a generic contact form, or you might be linking to some other site in order to have that. I'm a big fan of embedding, so they're not leaving your website at all. And obviously I'm using fully these ZenMaid booking forms, and we are embedding that on the specific pages that are appropriate. So you can have as many booking forms as you want for your various services, or you can just have one, whatever you prefer. With those booking forms, we can customize those to reflect the information that we want. But a lot of times what I'm seeing you guys do is have a very simple booking form where it's like like maybe their phone number of bedrooms, bathrooms. All right. They're already invested in filling out a form. And if we're only asking them that, we're not getting all of the information that would make the sales process so much easier, because it's a lot easier to sell to somebody if you know a bunch about them. How many pets, how many kids, what's stressing them out in the home, any rooms we shouldn't be doing. Like all of these things allow us to give a better, more accurate price, and gives you guys fuel so that when you do get this person on the phone, you already feel like you know them a bit and understand where they're coming from. We ask if they've ever had a cleaner before, and if so, what happened? We also ask things that would help us disqualify if we want to work with them. As you guys know, we do not clean homes that have been smoked in, so that's actually on our booking form. We don't want to waste time going back and forth and then realizing after the fact, like, oh, this whole house has been smoked in for 10 years, because we'd rather just recommend them to our partner, ServPro, who handles that type of thing, because we don't want to do that. Serene-clean.com. You guys can see what our booking form looks like and see how robust it is and how many questions we're asking. And that's really allowing us to sell better, to give them the things that they need. For example, we don't tell them, like, allow them to pick a date per se. Like, we don't have a little calendar, because you're most likely to disappoint and not be able to do it. Or from a scheduling perspective, you've got a better day. So we just don't even want to open it up. But we will have them list a couple days. Like, does it need to be done by a certain date, especially if we're talking a move out or a move in, so that we even know if it's possible, or do we need to wait list these people? So again, this allows for a lot less back and forth. So it solves a lot of things operationally, but then from a sales perspective, it really helps. And from a function perspective for your clients, they are not having to go to a different website, or you needing to pester them with a million questions on the phone or whatever, or you simply not asking the questions, which is most likely the case. And you guys having a tougher time at the cleaning, possibly priced too low because you didn't ask the right stuff, all of that good stuff. Because as you guys know, we don't go do walkthroughs for residential. So we have to have a robust intake process so we know what the heck we're getting into. So that is an easy mistake. ZenMaid booking forms are very easy to embed on your website. Whatever website builder you use, super duper easy to insert them. And I know that a lot of you guys sometimes will just use a Google form too if you don't have a scheduling software, which why don't you have a scheduling software? Trust me, it'll make your life 10 times easier. Yeah, I just sounded like Donald Trump, did I not? It's getting late in the day. I'm getting loopy, guys. Okay, on to mistake number 6. It is not very clear what types of services that you offer. And so what I mean by that is commercial and residential. A lot of you have expressed that you really want to get into commercial or you want more commercial. But when we visit your website, it looks like you are just a residential cleaning service. And you might have a page that says commercial, but the home page doesn't make me feel like you actually know what you're doing. It's almost like a side note. So if you're going to offer both and you want to grow both, I really think that we need to make it very clear that we can do both equally well. This is something I'm working on a website rebrand right now. This is something especially that I'm focusing on because right now Serene Clean's website it feels pretty residential heavy, even from the banner that I chose in the image. And that's not a bad thing necessarily if you guys are mostly residential, but I'm really keeping in mind, if I want to sell to both equally, what I'm going to have them do is they are going to be able to select on the home page, like what they're interested in. And then once they click that, it will take them to a new page that kind of is like the selling for that more specifically. So I think that we can all do a little bit better job if we want to offer both to make it really seem like it on the website and not just a house cleaning company that happens to dabble in very light commercial. And that might be who you are. That's totally okay. But if you want to be like us, where we are 50-50 commercial and we've got, 64 commercial accounts that are active, commercial is like just as important to us as residential. So it needs to look like it and impart that we can actually do this when they get to the website and that we are the clear choice for that. Mistake number 7 kind of plays off of that. And this is something that I noticed the other day when I was looking at a website that one of you guys had sent me a message and asked, and I was like, hey, can I, provide a little feedback? And you were like, yes, please. So this was the feedback. The tip is here, put yourself in the shoes of somebody who is coming to your site blind. I want you to put on like a client goggle and take away all the things that you know and think in your head about the services that you provide and erase that. Act like you're coming in blind, or better yet, ask somebody to do this because they are coming in blind that doesn't understand the inner machinations of your business. It is very confusing sometimes on some of our websites what it is, the types of services that we offer for residential specifically. I see often where, you have your different packages and it's a very basic explanation of what the difference is. And then I get to the booking form. And oftentimes what you're doing is you're saying, oh, select if this is move out cleaning, but do they still have to select all the add-ons or is that included already because it's a move out cleaning? Like I just feel this sense of confusion or even if your basic package, whatever that is for you, you're using that word or the standard package or whatever, but it is pretty robust. And I find it very useful from a sales perspective to really spell out in like detail all of the different tasks and checklist items that you are going to complete and make it very clear the differences between your packages, because otherwise this is your opportunity. People are looking at your website and we are trying to differentiate ourselves away from the competition, right? Because they're going to the websites of all of our competition and saying, well, they offer this, and your competition very well could be explaining like every single line item that they do in every single space. And you just have, I'll dust all your stuff, I'll do all the floors, and we'll clean the bathrooms, right? Like it's not robust enough. And even though that may be accurate, we could go into more detail. And I think the more detail on the scope of work that we can give on the front end, the better the expectations are of what is going to happen. And of course, during the estimating process, we provide our actual cleaning checklist so they know exactly what's going to be performed. However, I think that we should be selling before they even reach out to us. And that includes explaining the full scope of work and the different types of things that you offer, because a lot of you guys do offer multiple different, detail levels. And so just making it really clear what every single package is or what's included, what's not, so that there is less confusion going into it, because we don't want them to get to the booking form. Again, this is something I experienced the other day where I was coming at it from a client's perspective and I was filling out the booking form and the prices were adjusting. And I was like, this doesn't make sense to me, because if I change this, it doesn't adjust this. Like I was almost scared away because the prices for some of the add-ons like all windows or baseboards, for example, it didn't change when I adjusted the size of the house. Well, that doesn't make sense. So you're telling me that 1,000 square foot house baseboards is as expensive as if I had 3,500 square foot house baseboards or windows? So we really want to think about that, guys. And every time you have a hiccup when you're giving pricing, or this should be some reflection time to say, looking at that intake process and looking at if you do pricing on your website, is it adjusting appropriately, or are we actually shooting ourselves in the foot by having that happen on our booking forms? And obviously, you all know my opinions. I don't like pricing on websites. But if you do, it's all good. But you guys know how I feel about it. Okay, so that is number 7. And finally, number 8 is your guys' Google My Businesses don't make me feel alive, all right? I want to feel alive when I look at your Google My Business. And what makes me feel alive but pictures of other people and video testimonials. So I know I touched on this kind of, but the point is we need them to be on our Google My Business. You can upload videos and you can upload photos there. All right. So if all of your photos are just of like before and afters, that's great. But if you start searching cleaning services in XYZ, your town, cleaning services in Sparta, Wisconsin, and all of the competition pops up, and all I see are like pictures of bathtubs on yours, but the other one shows friendly faces. As humans, we are totally drawn to photos of other humans. So I'm already more intrigued by that. Or a video review, like catching my eye, an office tour, if you have an office, like all of these different things we can do as content videos of you talking about your services. These are going to draw my eye a lot more. And even if you have less reviews, I'm going to at least check you out, because I'm like, ooh, trust. You just trust a company where you see real people and real faces. So that's going to be my final tip, guys. Obviously, keep working on getting those reviews, because people aren't even going to click on your website if your Google My Business is not attracting eyes. So I said all of this stuff about websites, but at the end of the day, if your Google My Business is not attractive and not eye-catching and not properly filled out, they're not even going to go to your website. So you're not even capturing them. And that's how people are looking, guys. They're searching online. And obviously, a lot of you guys have gotten all of your business from word of mouth and just that local feel. And 100%, that's wonderful. It is not as constant as Google will be. Okay. So no matter what, we always will have word of mouth leads, 100%, but we can't really control that very much. Where we can control, are we getting reviews? Are we getting social proof online? Are we updating our website? Are we making sure it reflects like who we are as a brand and who you are as an owner? And it's very clear the services that we provide and what makes us special and different and how we solve the pain of our clients. So if you're just very generic on your website, you're not adding that human element, and it's just not clear exactly what you can do for me as a client and showing that you understand my pain, then I might go to the other guy, right? And so that's the point here, is to make these little adjustments. And most of these are pretty easy. And it is a process, obviously, when you're talking about getting video reviews, you're talking about taking photos. I understand it's not like just like that. I get that. But these are all little things that we can work to improve. Some of these are very quick to change, especially again with ChatGPT to update things. So these are just the mistakes that I have been seeing over and over on different websites as I'm doing consulting calls. And I wanted to share that with you all today. If you have any questions or anything follow up, just leave them in the comments below and I'll be happy to answer them. Otherwise, guys, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and I will see you on the next episode of Filthy Rich Cleaners. Bye-bye.